on Tuesday, May 11th. I'm Mayor Hernandez. I am going to start today's meeting of the State of the City 2021. As always, our first step is showing you where we're at on our 2017 to 2026 strategic plan. If you want to see our plan, you can find it on our website, as well as this web link here. And I'm sure we're going to share this PowerPoint with you on the website. So feel free to go back and take a look at them. As a reminder, we have 5 themes for our strategic plan, including resource development, cooperation and connection, infrastructure investment, planning for prosperity, and optimal operations. We review these every 2 years between April and July prior to the start of each budget season. We adopted a fiscal year 2021 budget, which, as you can see here, our revenues and expenditures, they even out. And our proposed revenues, the biggest amount that we expect to be coming in is through grants and, oh goodness, charges. So as you can see, there's a multitude of revenue resources that we rely on and utilize. On our expenditures, the biggest chunk you will see here is on our wastewater plan. That's a significant chunk of our budget and has been for the last year or so. We continue to invest in our wastewater, as it is something that had been a bit neglected in the past years, and Department of Ecology was not happy with us. So we have to get in there and really bring some things to standards. So it's been a little bit over a year that we've been living through COVID-19, and part of the impacts of the city, I'd just like to share a few. So we did declare emergency via resolution 20-009 on March 17th, 2020. And then we renewed it again, the city council renewed again on June 9th, 2020. Surprisingly, for College Place, sales tax revenues actually grew due to having Walmart and Home Depot in our city. So that was quite helpful to the city. However, to ensure that we were being good stewards of our funds, we did hold 4 positions vacant of staff, and we paused $2 million in capital projects that were planned for. Since then, since the city did so well, we have hired for the vacant positions, and we are beginning again our capital projects. So you'll see our teams out there quite a bit, getting the city ready for us. We did have one area that did suffer a bit, and that was our utilities revenue. And that was because during COVID, some of our neighbors did have a little bit of trouble keeping up with the payments on utilities. And that is something that the city's working with them. And we were being very lenient on that because we understood the stress and the situation. So the projects undertaken with state COVID-19 grant dollars, which we did get during the past years. So we purchased 4 community hand sanitizers and mass drive-through distributions. The mass drive-through distributions were quite successful. We had held them over at Lions Park and as well as at City Hall, and we gave away hundreds and thousands of sanitizers and masks. So thank you all for everybody who came by and picked up some of those to keep safety in College Place. We did have 2 hand sanitizers and face mask distribution door to door to business communities. So we made sure our businesses had their stock for safety standards. We purchased outdoor dining tables and umbrellas for any dining established in town that requested it, so that they could still have their customers in a safe way and enjoying their yummy menus. We provided rental and utility assistance, which we had go through BMAC. So 12 families were helped through city assistance, keeping them in their home and keeping their utilities on. We provided business grants through both city allocations and pass-through allocations via the county CDBG, which assisted 15 of our businesses. We purchased heart monitors and automated chest compression equipment for our fire and ambulance service. We replaced a grinder at our public utilities and our, and we got one good drinking well water, number 3. So we made sure those were kept up. We partnered with the county, city, port, and Providence St. Mary to acquire a Cepheid testing machine, which is rapid testing, early on before there was rapid testing. So make sure that anyone in our county could get their tests done quickly. We do want to remind you, though, of the not so pretty topic of the dirty, what we call the dirty dozen items that we ask that you do not flush because it does cause problems in our sewer systems. They include disposable wipes, and they say that they're flushable, but truly they're not. Tissues, toilet paper rolls, cigarettes, anything that's not toilet paper, please don't flush them. We'd appreciate that. Continuing, we thought we were trying to think out of the box of how to still have some community events, even though the COVID-19 mandate said to stay clear of coming together. So we did find some ways to still be part of a community and provide some entertainment throughout the year. We had June fireworks. We had our farmers market, which we put a lot of COVID-19 protections in place. So it made it quite successful. And again, thank you all to who came out and followed the COVID rules. We sincerely appreciated it, and we appreciated our vendors for being there. We augmented the Winter Festival. We partnered with Downtown Walla Walla Foundation, and we had a home driving tour, which due to the feedback that we saw on Facebook, quite a few families and young ones enjoyed that drive. We had a city vehicle parade through all the neighborhoods. I'm sure you all saw those as we were coming through with music, Christmas music, our lights, and many of our staff were in those vehicles waving, and of course there was Santa. And we did socially distant fireworks towards, twice. And we had hundreds of people come out and enjoy them. We didn't gather in one place, but everybody just needed to look to the sky and they were able to enjoy the beautiful fireworks show that were put on. In 2020, let's talk about our resource development. These are small letters. That's because we've done quite a bit successfully, even with the COVID restrictions and mandates. We had business retention due to COVID-19. So business grants through city partnerships with Mercy Corps Northwest, the port, county, and state. We also, part of the purchase of those patio equipments, as we talked a little bit earlier. So it was the ones with the big orange umbrellas and the blue seats that I'm sure you all saw out there. We did a downtown catalyst incentive, which is trying to incentivize businesses to establish themselves on College Avenue. We had a micro enterprise assistant program, which we provided funding to some early businesses and encouraging them to set business here in College Place. In business development, we had the Human Being Coffee Shop open up, which the drive-through over behind Home Depot. The Walla Walla Rural Library District opened at Meadowbrook Plaza. We were getting quite excited to get that open right before COVID hit. And unfortunately, they had to limit the way they were able to do services. But it's a beautiful location. They've done everything to spruce it up, and it is now open to the public. So we do encourage you all to utilize the College Place Library of the Walla Walla District branch at Meadowbrook. Additionally, we've got a new credit union in our neighborhood. P1 FCU opened up in Walmart. Walla Walla Esthetician and Beauty Salon opened, and Stellar Hair Salon as well. So we welcome all those new businesses from 2020 and thank them for being here in College Place. In regards to housing development, Hayden Homes Homestead Phase 3D and 3E was finished, and that's over by Virginia, Julia, and Dones Avenue. We have the Stepper Edition and Whispering Creek, which is on Southeast 8. There's a number of new houses going up there. So again, we are continuing to grow, and we have builders building in College Place, and we thank them as well. And we're going to welcome new neighbors, and we're very excited about that. The grants that we got in 22, we had a state TIB grant for Lamperti Street resurfacing. Hopefully you all have seen that go on. It really is a nice new road there. We got a grant from Wild Horse Casino Foundation for security cameras at 12th and College and Whitman and College to help keep our neighborhoods safe. State ecology wastewater treatment plant design. We also got some money to get that taken care of. As you saw, our wastewater is a big budget item, so we are grateful for the grants that we get to help offset those expenses. And then the State Department of Health and Legislative Appropriations, they provided a replacement drinking water well, so number 4 and number 6. There's a number of other grants that we received to help offset some of the expenses and get the city infrastructure going. But as you can see, that's already a long list. So our cooperation and connection section, community events. So the city executed events that could be done within COVID-19 guidelines and social distancing. For example, again, the College Place Farmers Market, where they designed it so everybody can safely walk through. Our vendors were safely socially distant apart as well. Freedom Festival fireworks, we didn't gather in one place, but everybody could still enjoy them, as well as Winter Fest. When you couldn't come to us, we came to you, and in our fun light up city utility vehicles. And again, there was Santa and music. We're connecting with HOAs, which is to transfer over private to public infrastructure programs. So adding new infrastructure to the city. We had other events that we did pause, though. We paused the Freedom Festival, the Lions Club Fishing Derby, Fall Festival, and the Youth Recreation Program, which was a little bit sad for us. And then again, the Walla Walla Rural Library District, the branch was established at Meadowbrook Plaza, again by Walmart, across from Walmart. And again, I'm going to encourage you to go visit. They've done a great job there. We do have active advisory boards, including a new Utilities and Transportation Advisory Commission and our new Diversity Inclusion Advisory Board, who they're both very active and getting things going in the city. Communications. So we do have our city YouTube channel that some of you might be watching this right now through. And we also have meetings and 1-minute project videos that we share regularly on our YouTube channel. So hopefully you have us favorited and you get to see all the things that are going on in the city and keep up to date. We do have a city partnership newsletter mailing that goes out with your utilities, where we keep updates, news items, and we just share some thoughts of what's going on around the area. And then of course, social media, which includes Facebook, Instagram, let's see, at Twitter, we have a Twitter, and on the neighborhood apps. So our infrastructure investments. So we replaced drinking water well number 4, and it was finally completed. That was years in the making, and it is now fully functioning and serving citizens of College Place. We put in electric vehicle charging stations at the College Place Police Department via Pacific Power grant, and those are free to use. We resurfaced Lamperti Street, as I mentioned, Southeast 10th Street stormwater retrofit. We also drilled shaft for replacement drinking water well number 6. We resurfaced Northwest Evans by Whitman. We finished up engineering on the Southwest Sewer Project. The wastewater sewer lining on Scenic View and Mountain View Hills, which was years that needing to be done. And we engineered for new sidewalks in Central College Place using CDBG funds. We also engineered for 4th Street upgrade, which included the 4 bikes, which is from 4th Street to Davids to make it safe biking lanes. And then we had the Myra Road rock along the roadway from Rose to Electric. It's that piece of between the two sides of the cities that just needed some beautification, and we laid some rock down to make it nice and clean and welcoming as people come into our area. In planning for prosperity, we had some development code revisions. We did a 6-year investment plan, which included capital facilities, equipment replacement, information technology. And then we did some legislative advocacy to both the state and the federal, reminding them the needs of College Place. And then we did marketing to developers and through other mediums and ICSC. So encouraging developers to come to College Place and to consider us for their next projects. Optimal operations. So engineering function moved to a 4-year on-call contract with JUB engineers. We no longer have an in-house engineer. We have firefighter and EMT brought on with us with ambulance revenue. So that's a new welcome hire that we are excited to have brought to the city. We are sufficiently staffed with fire volunteers to go out on wildland fire calls from the state, which includes Colfax, Babb Road, Malden, and Yakima area fires. We have a public works succession planning. We've had a long-time public works director who is now retiring, and we have a great plan in place ready for when he's retired. The city will just go right in. He'll be greatly missed, but he's setting it up for success. We have a stormwater system master plan and an all-inclusive wastewater treatment plant contract with Jacobs, who are now responsible for all equipment replacement, no cost to the city. And they're also responsible for farming operations at the wastewater treatment plant. So 2021 resource development. So grants that we have for this year is a state DNR, which is urban forestry grant. We have a CDBG for sidewalks, micro enterprise and dry wells. We have a community economic revitalization board, which includes a flex space planning study. So we're hoping to look at putting in a flex workspace here in College Place for the use of our small businesses. We have a United Way matching grant for our summer youth rec activities, which is coming back this summer. USDA Port and Ecology help with our Southward Sewer trunk line. State Ecology with our wastewater treatment design. State TIB with our four bikes project. And State DAHP, which help with our historic preservation grant, including one to GPR, the Poor Farm Cemetery. The state DOH and legislative appropriation for well number 6 replacement. And then we have a state RCO for Lions Park, and we'll talk a little bit more about what that's about in the coming up. We have a FEMA for fire and ambulance equipment, much needed, and a federal government city COVID assistance. So stay tuned for how we're going to continue to allocate that. We're still waiting for some more to come in. So we're excited to see how we're going to get those to use for the city. We do now have a community garden, which is put on by some students over at Walla Walla University. It's behind the fire station. And it's a community garden where you can rent a space and garden to your heart's desire. We have the Micro Enterprise Assistant Program, again, helping micro businesses get started here in College Place, providing them with education and training. For business development, we have Goodwill coming. I'm sure many of you have seen their sign up across from Home Depot over on C Street. We're quite excited to welcome them into our community. And then we have some fast food dining establishments at Meadowbrook, which are coming in, and we should have those coming within the year. So more options for eating out. Our housing development, Hayden Homes continues on Homestead, Whispering Creek. On the Simon development, off Spitzenberg, and Villages at Fort Walla Walla, which is the apartment multifamily complex, which is also going to be going on the other side behind Home Depot. In our Cooperation Connection for 2021, our community events. So we're trying to bring back more of our events that we lost due to the regulations from COVID-19. So we want to have some good events this year for our 75th anniversary. We will be starting our farmers market again this month. So please do come out to Lions Park on Thursdays from 4 to 7 p.m. and support our vendors and have a fun time in the park, see your neighbors. We are also having movies in the park again this year, and they do include movies, family-friendly movies such as Moana, A Bug's Life, and my favorite, Coco. So please gather your children and family, bring a blanket and some chairs, and come out and enjoy movies in the park right after our farmers market. We are having Freedom Festival, a Fall Festival, and our Winter Fest. Those are already in planning stages to bring those back and hopefully better than ever. We have a youth recreation partnership with United Way, Sunbridge, and Campfire, where they'll be providing things for children to do, activities and daycare, I suppose, to watch children during the daytime. If you're interested in any of that, please visit the Campfire website. We're having bird scooters put in, and those are electric scooters where residents of College Place can pay a small fee and use them for transportation around the city. When you're done, you leave them where you're at, and somebody else will pick it up and use it on the way back. So we're excited to see those come around for short trips. I think it's going to be well utilized. We are continuing to work on our 75th anniversary book to be published in cooperation with the city's Historic Preservation Commission. They've been working hard at gathering photos and information and stories to share with the community regarding the last 75 years as we've been called College Place. Credit Union P1 FCU and Art Walla Walla partnered on College Avenue traffic box art wraps, which we did a contest and we asked artists to submit their drawings and their pictures. And they, as you have seen, if you've driven around the city, we have some beautiful artwork instead of ugly green electrical boxes. We're hoping to bring more back this year. So keep a lookout for those announcements for you artists who want to contribute to our next grouping. We have, again, the Walla Walla Library District at Meadowbrook Plaza, which I do want to share that they will be having a bookmobile at our farmers markets as well. So like parents are buying some fresh foods and vegetables, the kids can go check out a book. We have a very active advisory boards who they meet regularly, but again, remember you can see their meetings on our YouTube channel. So our infrastructure investment. We're wrapping up drinking water well number 6. We're constructing Southwest wastewater trunk line and replacement for lift station number 6 over off Majonier. We're going to be doing a Meadowbrook resurfacing and the 4 bikes plan, which again has for safe ways to bicycle around the city. We're going to be adding those sidewalks on 12th, Bade, and Davis. We're going to continue street resurfacing on Southwest Bade, Southeast Broadway, Southwest 5, and Northeast Cedar. Also, we have a Northwest Estido Court storm replacement project happening. Highland Park water line replacement project is going on currently. Southeast 12th and Broadway sewer lining project, the Southeast Sky and 12th water main replacement project, regional police gun range at the wastewater treatment plant, which we want to also thank the Walla Walla Public Schools for donating a portable for our police officers to be using. And it's going to be regional, so we're welcoming all other law enforcement to come in and use it. We're building a police evidence building, and we're wrapping up final engineering on our wastewater treatment plan of the upgrade, which again, I'd like to remind you, it's state mandated, so we're getting those up to code. And then we're going to wrap up final engineering on our Lions Park upgrade. We're continuing to recruit for new businesses to call College Place home and open branches here. We're continue to work on a development code update, which is focused on affordable housing. How do we get that here in the city to ensure that all our neighbors have a safe and affordable home? We're doing a housing need assessment. We have Blue Zones project, which is new to the Walla Walla and College Place areas. We're working on getting some broadband infrastructure put in. We have a community land trust, which again is we're looking to see what available land we can utilize for affordable housing, again, for our neighbors and welcoming new people to our community. We're trying to simplify our municipal code. So if any of you have looked through our municipal code, you know it's not something simple. So that's being worked on. And partnership to renovate Lions Park. So we're looking to separate the pond from the creek. We're adding a splash pad, a nature theme inclusive play equipment, and a walking path so that you could safely walk around the entire length of Lions Park without having to worry about twisting your ankles. There's going to be great fun for the kids, and it's going to be a beautiful park as soon as it's done. So we're very excited to get that open for the city. Our police department received accreditation, which is a huge achievement, and we congratulate them, and thanks Chief Tamaris for that hard work on his team. HR functions are now fully online. We have an interlocal agreement with funds in place to replace outdated fire training tower with the city of Walla Walla and Fire District number 4. We have development of online permitting and plan review to make it easier and quicker to get permitting done. We have a new financial portal to help our finance department keep things straight and organized. We have an urban forestry master planning with a state grant helping us know what type of trees we need to plant, what kind of trees we need to watch out for, and how to care properly for the trees we already have in place. So, what are our major challenges going forward? As we mentioned, housing availability and affordability. As you all know, prices for homes have gone up significantly in our region. And here at College Place, we're taking that very seriously and looking to see how we can alleviate some of that stress and burden for our families to ensure that you're able to stay in your home or upgrade to a home that's still affordable and safe for you and your family. Our stormwater system, we have a large deferred capital backlog current. Since the city didn't really dabble with stormwater until the state required the city to do it recently. Fortunately, we do have some programs that may help serve as a vehicle to help the city cover some of those expenses. One way or another, though, we have to find a way to cover them as they are mandated by the state. Our wastewater system, the state is also making some burdensome demands on us pertaining to the treatment plant, which is going to cost over $20.2 million. And again, that's mandated. Street reconstruction. The city has been lucky in getting state grant assistance to reconstruct arterial roadways, which, as you can see in this map, and if you do look at the PowerPoint later, they're the ones in red and green. However, we have no funding in place for local roads except some, hate to put it this way, but it's meager declining gas tax, as not as many people are driving around utilizing gas, whether it's because of COVID or working from home, and some changes in our driving habits. Therefore, we have reduced greatly in our gas tax that we have received. Because of that, our local roads that are not arterials are funded to reconstruct with the funding revenue source we have right now. It would take us 250 years to get ourselves up to par, which is not realistic. So we are having to look at other revenue sources to get our roads safely done and up to safety standards so that we can drive around safely in our community. So our recreation programming. So there's a growing gap in the Valley since Valley Camp stopped operating in the summer 2 years ago. And therefore we are working with Campfire again, United Way, Sunbridge, and College Place Public Schools on program development, which we expect to be happening this summer at Kiwanis Parks. If you're interested in some of that information, you can either check on the city's website or go to the Campfire website to register for some activities for your children. And then we have a growing city. So what kind of demands and expectations of available city services are being put on us? We're investing quite a bit of money and time in making sure our roads and our wastewater and our sewer treatment programs, and that we have clean drinking water. We're not sure what else is going to be coming down the road as we grow, but the city's looking forward to make sure that we are prepared and getting things in place so that nothing surprises us. Phew, that's quite a bit of stuff that happened in the last year. I want to thank you for spending this time listening to the state of the city. If you want to speak to myself or City Administrator Mike Rizzatello about any of the things you've heard here, concerns, compliments, suggestions, please feel free to reach out to us with our phone numbers there and our email. We are available to you. So thank you very much. Okay, so it is now 7:01, so we're right on schedule. And I would like to call to order the Tuesday, May 11th Electronic City Council meeting. It's the 2074th meeting of the City Council. So let's take a look. Oh, Lisa, will you please take roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Councilmember Bobbitt.
Present.
Councilmember Cleveland.
Present.
Councilmember Peterson.
Present.
Councilmember Nyhagen.
Present.
Councilmember Selby.
Present.
Councilmember Sherman had said she probably was not going to make it. So we also have, of course, Mayor Hernandez, City Attorney Ree Colwell, City Administrator Mike Rizzatello, Finance Director Brian Carlton, Police Chief, no.
Yep,
Police
easier.
Chief Troy Tamaris, Fire Chief David Winter, Community Development Director John Rickard, HR Manager Sean Doring, and myself, City Clerk Lisa Neisel. We do have a quorum.
Wonderful, thank you. Now, will you all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, I think we're gonna have to ad-lib this one. So please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And Councilmember Nyhagen, could I please once again impose on you to get us started with some words?
Absolutely. Shall we pray? Dear Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for the beautiful day you've given us, for the news that we've had about our city. We're thankful, Father, that you're leading us. We're doing well, and we really thank you, and help us to be good witnesses, Father. Bless our meeting tonight, that we will do things according to your will. And we ask, Lord, for a special blessing for those that have come down with this COVID. And we ask that you would bless them. And thank you, Father. Thank you for our mayor. In Jesus' name, I thank you. Amen.
Thank you. It's now time for our public comment. Lisa, do we have speakers tonight?
Yes, we do.
Okay. We are now in for the public comment.
Let me give them the ability to talk. First is Ms. Trevino.
I'm sorry, is it possible for Jacob to go first?
Sure.
Thank you.
Hi, can I get a sound check?
We can hear you.
Awesome.
Go ahead, Mr.
Go ahead.
All right. So my name is Jacob Manlove. I'm here with my wife, Gabriella, who you just heard. We moved to College Place last April, and I actually work as a pilot in Pendleton, but we like this community so much that we decided my commute was worth the drive. I understand there's been a lot of previous debate about firework restrictions on the council. And I understand that there was also like a Facebook poll which came out, and it was a pretty even split on the issue. It seems like people feel strongly about fireworks on both sides, and frankly, I can understand that. Just like all of you, I remember running around my family's yard in the dark, waving sparklers with both my hands as a little kid. So people get angry when you talk about restricting something that they have those kind of fond family memories of. However, tonight I wanted to talk to you guys about a different story I have about fireworks, and I hope you'll see why I feel strongly that they should be restricted. I want to put a face or a voice to the issue when you discuss it next. My wife Gabriella and I are here to tell you that our house caught on fire last 4th of July because of rogue fireworks in our neighborhood. As you all will remember, last 4th of July was dry. We were at the height of COVID restrictions, and for that reason, there was not a big centralized firework display. This created a perfect storm of amateur fireworks displays in College Place. Everyone took it upon themselves to provide entertainment for their friends and family. For our part, Gabby and I had just come back from a camping trip, so we were exhausted. We went to bed around 10 p.m. I was just falling asleep when I heard our doorbell being frantically rung. As we later found out, our neighbor across the cul-de-sac had been setting off artillery shells in the street. One of the shells had flown into the arborvitae bushes along our driveway. That fire spread along the bushes, burning both of our vehicles and eventually catching the eaves of the home. The fire spread into the attic space above our kitchen before the fire department got in, pulled down the ceiling, and extinguished the fire. We feel blessed that we made it out of the house safely, and I wanted to take this opportunity to thank the fire and the police department for all the support they gave us that night. I'm really at a loss for words. We felt so cared for that evening, and I'm sorry that we never returned the shock blankets that you gave us. The fire department said that they had 9 other fires that evening before they got to us, which contributed to a delay in the arrival of trucks, equipment, and even water to our emergency that night. There were literally too many fires for the water system to support. By the time the fire trucks were leaving, we were put out of our home with our 50-pound Greyhound after midnight in the middle of a COVID shelter-in-place order. So the house survived, but everything in the house was smoke damaged. As you can see, there was a lot of damage in the kitchen there. So we spent the next month in the Holiday Inn trying to track down a place to live, cars, clothes, and furniture, all while cleaning the soot off as many of our belongings as possible. Honestly, we should have come to talk to you guys sooner, but we've been trying to reach just normal. I've become a person that I never really thought I would be. We had a GoFundMe. We were lucky enough to have like 30 of our coworkers volunteer to take everything out of our house, clean the soot off. We had a Red Cross caseworker. And I want to reiterate that I have a great job. We're lucky people, but the size of this emergency was just too far out of scale. So again, from day one, we've said we need to speak out for firework restrictions. And that's why we're here today. So, you know, it's easy to look at this one instance and say, that'll never happen to me. That's not something that's common. And I want to fight that stance because everyone should care about this. Our story shows that even if you're not the person shooting fireworks, it can still hurt you. Even if you shoot fireworks safely, you can still hurt or be hurt. Our neighbor had a row of fire extinguishers ready to go for their fireworks. She came to me a week later after the fact, and she was heartbroken for what she had inadvertently, or what her family had inadvertently done to ours.
Sorry,
So-
that is the 5 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. To sum up, we're requesting a ban on fireworks similar to Walla Wallas.
Thank you, Mr. Manlove. Ms. Trevino, do you?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. And I'll just kind of round out what Jacob was saying. I think what we're specifically asking is the restrictions mirror the the restrictions that Walla Walla has in place. So a ban on parachutes, Roman candles, air spinners, helicopters, cake mine shells, fireworks, bottle rockets, explosive device, sky, rocket and missiles. So those are the types of restrictions that we were specifically asking for. And we're wanting to echo Jacob, we are wanting to celebrate 4th of July, and I'll get into kind of my story, but just wanted to reiterate that, we really would like the city of College Place to consider having a public fireworks display. So those are kind of our two asks, is a public fireworks display and then a restriction similar to Walla Wallas. So Jacob kind of outlined what our experience was that day, but I really wanted to speak separately and just kind of share our personal experience of the fire. And I really want the council to understand how challenging and painful it was to be in our position. I completely understand why someone would not want to change the ordinance because it would challenge their personal freedoms. However, for me, when your freedoms encroach on the safety of my family, my life, you're now taking away my freedom to a safe home and destroying my property. I grew up in Texas, and as all you may know, it is a very red state. And I grew up in a very red county. And all the counties I lived in Texas, there were laws against discharging aerial fireworks within city limits because of the obvious safety hazards they pose to citizens and property. I had friends who lived outside of city limits who had fireworks shows that they would do. They took several safety measures to ensure they weren't burning their own land down. There were times when fireworks were prohibited because of burn bans due to the severe droughts we experienced in Texas, and they followed those bans. I don't want to Texify your state or community or make your community like Texas. We love it here. That's not our point. The reason I bring that up is because I speak from my experience of coming from a place where personal freedoms are at the forefront of decisions. And I'm aware of the importance of that. The day of the fire, I lost many of our material possessions. Insurance replaced furniture, bedding, and some electronics. However, it doesn't replace any of the artwork I did in college, the tiny paintings I purchased on my travels, the furniture Jacob made, family photos, the scarf my great aunt knitted me, or the postcards friends have sent me over the years. Because in the eyes of insurance, there is no value to those items. The hours that Jacob and I spent cleaning our house and missing work cannot be given back. The paid time off we had hoped to use for camping that summer were used for cleaning. We lived between Airbnbs and Holiday Inns for almost a month after the fire during a pandemic. We had no family or friends because, like Jacob said, we moved up here. Just kind coworkers and just amazingly kind neighbors to help us during one of the darkest times in our lives. Again, we can't thank enough the Red Cross and fire department and police department. There's really no words that can ever extend our gratitude. My sister was admitted to the hospital in Texas a week after the fire. She passed away on August 8th. I didn't go visit my sister because I couldn't leave Jacob alone to deal with the fire. We were trying to get our stuff moved out of the house as quickly as possible because we were underinsured and we had to do all the legwork of moving and cleaning our belongings. I went to my sister's funeral and only used 3 days of bereavement. I had just started a job in healthcare, which had its own challenges, a couple of months back and didn't qualify for FMLA and had little PTO. The only dress I could salvage for my sister's funeral wasn't completely clean, so when it rained, I stunk of burnt plastic at the funeral. That smoke isn't like campfire smoke that you can just air out on your patio. It's a chemical burnt plastic smell that you can't get out with soap and water. Smoke damage is like water damage in that it gets in the tiny crevices of everything. Once we moved into our new place, we slept on an air mattress for a month because we weren't able to get a mattress. If you tried to purchase anything during the pandemic, you know that many things have been out of stock, overpriced. Imagine trying to replace everything you owned at those prices and extended shipping times. In addition, we had to replace both of our vehicles that were paid off. I don't tell you all this so that you pity us. I tell you this because you can prevent stories like ours by changing the ordinance. Something can be done, and that's what gives me hope. I truly believe that civil engagement and discourse is the way to make change. A personal freedom to discharge aerial fireworks, to me, is not more important than the freedom of someone's safe home and preservation of property. To me, it's no longer a discussion of personal freedoms, but it's really a discussion of what is the right and moral thing to do. Again, we don't want to get rid of 4th of July. I have incredibly fond memories as well. I just want to find a balance. Thank you for your time, and I hope you consider making changes based on our request.
Thank you, Ms. Trevino.
Thank you.
And I also have Jackie Schaefer, who I will give permission to speak.
Yes, my name is Jackie Schaefer-Zuhl, and I would like to strongly support this modification of the firework ordinance that Gabriella and Jacob are speaking of, to make it like Walla Walla's firework ordinance. We live in the same, my family and I live in the same cul-de-sac that they were living in last July 4, and we witnessed the terrible devastation experienced by them. And these pictures, I hadn't even seen these before, but we saw the outside and everything that came outside, and it was heartrending to watch. And the same kind of arborvitae bushes that caught fire and caused this devastation by the stray firework, those same kind of bushes are on the boundary of the other side of the property, where one of the bedrooms, our home, comes within feet of. And I mean, the occupant of that bedroom could have been killed had the firework been directed towards our arborvitae, or the arborvitae that borders our property. And so what they went through was just horrible and dangerous, and it seems so unnecessary. If we could be willing to, as Gabriella said, if we can have planned for some fireworks in a safe place that is not in a crowded housing development. So I would like to very strongly support this this proposal, so that we can have safe neighborhoods and be good neighbors and protect each other, even if it means limiting our personal freedoms. I would hope that we would all agree that safety should come first. Thank you.
Thank you.
I did have one other person sign up, but I don't see that name in our attendees. So.
Okay. All right, then we will continue on with the agenda. Next, we have our consent agenda, which consists of approving the agenda for today, May 11th, 2021. Approve the council minutes from April 27th, 2021. Approve the council minutes from the May 4th, 2021 workshop. The city attorney change in status, contract to employee salary ordinance update. Let's see, and do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved, Councilmember Cleveland.
Thank you. Do we have a
Second, Councilmember Selvig.
Thank you. Any other discussions? Okay, then let's vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Motion is passed. Thank you. Okay, so we do have two presentations today. I would like to share them. I'm going to read the presentations to you and share that we're acknowledging some very important people. So this is regarding the Older American Month proclamation. Whereas this year marks the 56th anniversary of the Older Americans Act, which since 1965 has provided services that helps older adults remain healthy and independent by connecting them to local resources, complementing existing medical and healthcare systems, and helping prevent hospital readmissions and supporting some of life's most basic needs, such as receiving nutrition meals. And whereas these programs also support family caregivers, address issues of exploitation, neglect, and abuse of older adults, and adapt the needs of Native American elders. And whereas the 2021 theme of Older American Month, Communities of Strength, and whereas the City of College Place builds on individual and community strengths to empower older Americans to continue a quality of life complete with dignity, choice, and respect by recognizing valuable leadership and ongoing life achievements that are essential contributions to our society. And now, therefore, I, Norma L. Hernandez, Mayor of the City of College Place in Washington, do hereby proclaim May 2021 as Older Americans Month. And we encourage everyone to support and participate in the Blue Zone projects in Walla Walla Valley. Given under my hand and seal as Mayor of the City of College Place, Washington, this 11th day of May, 2021. Additionally, this is Economic Development Week. So whereas economic developers promote economic well-being and quality of life for their communities by creating, retaining, and expanding jobs that facilitate growth, enhance wealth, and provide a stable tax base. And whereas economic developers value entrepreneurship and small business incubation to help establish the next generation of new businesses, which is a hallmark of the American economy. And whereas the City of College Place acknowledges the power of partnerships and collaboration in achieving its goals in the community. And now, therefore, I, Norma L. Hernandez, Mayor of the City of College Place, Washington, do hereby proclaim the week of May 9th through May 15th, 2021 as the Economic Development Week in the City of College Place. Given under my hand and seal as Mayor of the City of College Place, Washington, this 11th day of May, 2021. Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you very much. As an older American, I thank you for recognizing we older folks.
And thank you for your important contributions and your commitment to our community. Thank you. Okay, so next item on the agenda is public hearings. Lisa, do we have any public? Oh, we don't have any public hearings tonight. I'm sorry. So moving on, action items. The first action item is the Urban Forestry Management Plan, and Mr. Rizzatello will present on that.
Okay, thank you. So this item was presented at length at the workshop the previous week. So what this is it essentially establishes a game plan for our urban tree canopy. Prior to this study, we had no study or inventory of city-owned trees. Now this is not all-encompassing. I say that because we obtained grant funding from State Department of Natural Resources to do this work. So this work with the grant we received covered all of the city park trees as well as street trees and federal arterial rights of way. So it's not all the local streets. That's streets like College Avenue, Meadowbrook, Lamperty, Commercial Drive, 12 4th, Rose, and Whitman. What it did is we actually have a geospatial inventory of all of those trees along those corridors, as well as it tagging essentially trees that need to be pruned, maintained. There's a couple of dead ones that they identified that we need to remove, as well as prioritized areas for tree planting. And then it did identify a deficiency in the fact that a lot of our existing trees are actually of the maple variety. So this showed that we really need to increase our tree diversity here in the community, because like where I'm from in Chicago, they had this disease about a decade ago called emerald ash borer disease go through the metropolitan area, and it wiped out all the trees, because all of the trees, at least on the south side of Chicago, were the emerald ash variety. So about 60% of our tree network is that one type of tree. So we definitely have to diversify the trees that we're planting. And that goes over with a strategy of essentially what we need to do to increase our capacity to take care of the trees. Because as you would find in this report, the actual value of our tree canopy is just on those federal arterial roadways, and then the park trees are over $1.5 million. So it's actually a lot of money, and it grows over time if you maintain them. So therefore, we need to maintain them. This has gone through extensive public process. Park Arbor and Rec Board discussed this plan over the entire last year. They've supervised the inventory, as well as the hiring of the consultant, which was Community Forestry Consultants out of Spokane, that's done several of these for communities of our size and scope. Last month, the Park and Arbor Advisory Board actually made a motion to recommend this to City Council, so that's why it's before you. The thing we will need to do if this does pass City Council is I view this as like half of the equation, because we still don't have an inventory or game plan for the local trees on the local road rights of way, like Birch Avenue, Dade Avenue, 8th, 10th, streets like that. However, yesterday the governor signed in a lot of this new act called the Evergreen Act, which dramatically increases the size of the funding that they're giving the state DNR. So with the passage of that, I've talked with the DNR folks, and I believe we're in a good position to get a follow-up grant to get a local road tree plan, so that way everything is covered. But at least the first half of this is what's before you today for adoption, if you so choose.
Right. Thank you, Mike. We're going to go through council members for any questions or comments. And as usual, we'll begin with Mr. Bobbitt.
No questions. Thank you, Mike.
Mr. Cleveland,
No questions.
Mr. Peterson,
Just a comment, then maybe a quick question. That was a great presentation. That was an eye opener from our workshop. Mike, I think it was this weekend. I saw some tree trimming on the south end of College Avenue, and trees that were being reduced by like 90% in size there, or something like that. Who is that, and what?
So the trees south of 12th Street, that city staff is going to have to deal with that one, because some of the stuff south of 12th was not authorized. That was actually a private business doing that on their own accord. So that wasn't an example of this. Some examples of this are over on Lions Park. So there have been some trees trimmed over there, and then Kiwanis Park.
So on College Avenue, our trees, somebody decided to trim them?
south of 12th Street, yes.
All righty, thanks.
Yeah, I know.
I've got to ask the question. They're going to be okay?
We are investigating that matter at the moment. It just crossed our desk today.
Okay. No, thank you. That was a curiosity, I know, at the
Yeah.
time.
Councilwoman Nyhagen?
Did you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And Council Member Selby?
No questions.
Okay. If you have any other questions or additional comments, please use the button to raise your hand. Okay, seeing none, is there a motion regarding this issue? Does anybody
I
want
move to approve resolution number 21-025, which adopts the City of College Place, City Park, and Federal Street Tree Urban Forestry Management Plan.
Second.
Thank you. So we have a first and a second. Any additional discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? The vote's unanimous. The ayes have it and the motion is passed. Next item on the agenda is round 2 of the traffic utility signal box wraps. And Mr. Rizzatello again will present on that.
Hey, thank you. So as you know, the traffic art box competition that was well received by the community. We were able to cover about 8 traffic boxes along the College Avenue corridor. However, there are a couple of traffic boxes left around the community, some scattered ones on the College Avenue corridor, and then also around the Meadowbrook area. So P1FCU, they reached out to us once again, and they would like to sponsor the remaining 7 traffic box wraps. So the proposal is basically to re-engage with them once again on this. And then we're going to have a partnership with Art Walla, where Art Walla will help us get the word out to the public and to area artists to submit design plans for what potential art may look like on the traffic boxes. We will have a jurying committee once again, which would have a combination of artists that live in town here. Representatives from Art Walla covers this area, as well as representation from our various advisory boards, such as the Park Board, Economic Development Commission, and Diversity Commission, and then City Council. And then we would get a private company to develop the wraps. And the goal of this is to have these last 7 wraps installed by December, which would be in time for our Winter Fest festivities. So that is what is before you, and we wish to thank P1FCU for wanting to sponsor this extension.
Yes, thank you. Okay, we're going to go through council members for any questions or comments. Mr. Bobbitt.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 21-026, which permits traffic utility box wrap sponsorship project with P1FCU and Art Walla for 7 traffic boxes.
All right, thank you. We do need to go through the other council members for any questions or comments, and then we'll come back for vote. Mr. Cleveland.
No questions.
Okay, Mr. Peterson.
Well, just a comment. I just love them. We have, positive comments. I was in South Seattle this last weekend, and I know they have some of the same artwork, and it's amazing. There's a graffiti issue going on there, but yet those boxes, as have been outlined by Mike and others, even in some areas where there's been some abuses of that, perhaps recently there in that area, are untouched. And it's just amazing testament of the beauty of it, and also the protection of those spots too, as far as graffiti in the future, hopefully. Yeah. Anyway, kudos. Thank you all, Mike.
Nyhagen,
Questions? Thank you.
Ms. Selby,
I just have one quick question, which is the QR code on the side. Where does that send people?
So so the 3 QR codes, one of them on the one in front of the university, one of them goes to the city website. The other one goes to the Visit Walla Walla website, which is basically our tourism and economic development association for visitors. And then the third one over there goes to P1FCU since they sponsored it.
Cool. I just wondered. I also love them, and I really appreciate the second round.
agree on all comments. Okay, we do have a motion on the table. Is there a second?
Second.
Great, thank you. Any additional discussion and comments? All right, all in favor, say aye.
I
Any opposed? Great, the ayes have it. It is unanimous and the motion is passed. That's exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing the new ones. I bet we're going to have more participation now that people can envision what it was that we're doing. So,
Yeah.
all right. We have one administration report tonight, and Mr. Carlton will present the first quarter of 2021 capital expense report.
Yes, this is a new report the finance department has created that we want to share with council on a quarterly basis. This will be an informational report going forward, but it'll be available to you to see where we stand on our capital expenditures. I believe it's a large portion of our budget. 2021, it's $14.6 million is the approved budgeted capital expenditure report. And we broke it down by project and the amount spent by quarter. So we just wanted to let you know that this report will be prepared after we close the month end, after each quarter. So not a lot of spending in the first quarter, but that's going to change as we move into the year. And we'll also have an opportunity to discuss if there's any major variances from spending.
All right. All right. So does anybody have any questions for Mr. Carlton? And we're going to start with Mr. Bobbitt.
No questions. Thank you.
Mr. Cleveland,
No questions.
Mr. Peterson.
Yeah, you know, this is something I was actually thinking about before I saw this. And Brian, this looks, yeah, wonderful. Thank you. This is good information. I know we're going to have an additional council member, hopefully here sometime in the future. And I'll just throw this out there. We don't, obviously no discussion or decision now, but it would be nice to have at one of our workshops, perhaps a city finance 101, maybe 15, 20 minutes going through and the difference between the capital and operating expenses. I know we go through and we do that at the budget, but you know, it's some of that is some pretty heavy lifting as far as understanding that. And I think a refresher course would be nice for all of us. And I think if we have new people, especially, it'd be nice to do a little bit of orientation. Nothing heavy, 15 minutes, whiteboard, something, you know, whatever. But anyway, just a thought. Anyway, you guys can go do it what you think. But I think that might be very useful.
Can do. I'll talk to Mike about it and we'll get something in the works.
Thanks, guys. And all.
Ms. Nyhagen,
No questions. Thank you.
Ms. Selby.
I really appreciate this report because it's just laid out so nicely and easy to follow. And the print is big enough that I can read it. So thank you very much, but I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So that is all for our information for our administrative reports today. Okay, thank you, Mr. Carlton. We do not have any informational reports tonight. And we're getting ready to close. So is there any other business for the good of the order?
Yeah, Councilmember Peterson, I'm sorry, here I am yakking again. Is there an update on our small park on East 12th? Is there, what, I'm just curious. I've been kind of looking forward to seeing where that heads.
Yeah. So that was delayed for a long time because the volunteer group, which was the Shorewood local leadership group class of 2020, they were working on it when the pandemic struck. So the ability to actually get together and build the thing was impaired due to the social distancing requirements. They have since regrouped. And now that a lot of the distancing regulations and protocols have laxed a little bit, they are starting to coordinate it out. So I was expecting a late spring, early summer to see that actually get built. Actually, two of our park board members, ironically, are on the group doing it. So, and then Norman Thiel, who's with Sunbridge, he's in that same class. So I would expect that it would get done because we do have local folks that live nearby who want to see it come to fruition.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Ms. Colwell.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say I appreciate you guys investing in me. I'm super excited to start working full time, and I think it will be a good payoff for the city. Thank you.
We agree. So thank you. Okay. I want to thank you all for joining and sticking around for State of the City and for the City Council meeting. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Councilmember Selby, second.
All right, great. So if there's no objections, the meeting is adjourned at 7:43 p.m. Don't forget, those of you that need to register for your reelection, it happens Monday.